Hi, my name is Jackie Urteaga, and I'm going to be talking to you about the novel To Kill a Mockingbird and the 1962 film adaptation. Harper Lee's novel, To Kill a Mockingbird, explores prejudice and how people challenge these societal expectations in a small southern town in the early 1930s. Emotions are bittersweet. The pervasive pressure of racism weighs the novel down, while the intelligent and gentle Atticus Finch elevates the reader's hope in a brighter future. Prejudice, seen through gender roles, societal outcasts, and racism, is explored, as well as the topics of incest and rape. The first thing I want to talk about is gender and how different it is from the book than it is in the movie. Miss Maudie, Stephanie, and Alexandra's roles in the book are different from in the movie. In the movie, their roles are minimized, if not taken out completely, like Aunt Alexandra. I thought that was a bad move, because Aunt Alexandra was a really important character that Scout and Jem had to deal with, even though it wasn't always positive. Jem's role was increased in the movie, and he was crueler to Scout, while her character was minimized more. Another thing that happened was that Scout was forced to wear a dress on her first day of school. Now, in the book, that didn't happen. She could wear her overalls and it was fine. I asked my grandmother why in the movie they made her do that, and she said because in 1962, it was an unwritten rule for women to wear dresses on their first day of school. So I understood why they changed that. It was because of the time period. The next thing I wanted to talk about was Dill and how he is changed completely in the movie. He's younger in the movie than he should be. In the book, he's in between Scout and Jem's age. And he has a love interest with Scout, but in the movie they completely take that out. Fortunately, Atticus's role stayed the same in the book and in the movie. So next I want to talk about Boo Radley, because he is our societal outcast and our hermit. So in the book, he's more of a mystery to the kids. He is an unknown factor for them. And it's the same in the movie, but it's on a smaller scale. His character is minimized, and they don't mention his importance as much in the movie than they do in the book. He's a topic of their interest in the book, and he has them running wild, trying to understand his way of life. They're basically fearing the unknown on a larger scale than they do in the movie. The next thing I wanted to talk about is racism. Now, in the movie, Atticus tells Scout not to say the word nigger, but in the book, he never says for her not to say it. I think that Atticus says for her not to say it in the movie because the movie was made in 1962, and there was a lot of racial tension around there, and they didn't want to have people think that it was okay to say that. But in the book, since it was her in 1932, it was more customary for them to refer to Negroes in that way. They minimized the racial pressure that the kids felt several times. For example, they completely took out the church scene where Calpurnia takes the kids to church. I feel like that part would have been really important in the movie because it shows a side of them that is different. They're not judgmental, they're not racist, unlike the other kids at that time. Now another example was Tom Robinson in the movie. He was more scrutinized in court for saying that he felt bad for Miss Mayla and that's why he would always go help her. In the book, he wasn't scrutinized for saying that. It was more normal. So I thought that was weird that they would make it such a big deal in the movie when it wasn't a big deal in the book. So next I wanted to talk to you about incest. In the book, it's greatly implied that there was incest with Yule and his daughter. But in the movie, they never really say that. All they say is that Tom Robinson took advantage or beat her up. And that's the only thing that's implied. But in the book, Atticus makes it very clear that Yule is really the one who is raping Mayela. So I thought that was interesting that they kept it out, and I didn't think it was necessary to do so, but they still did it. The differences between the book and the movie really made me appreciate the book. Although there was a substantial amount of changes having to do with gender, boo, racism, and incest, the movie did a a good job staying true to the main parts and keeping the storyline the same. I think that if the movie was made now rather than in 1962, they would have had a better adaptation to the book, because now there's no racism, there's no prejudice against gender, and they would have included certain things that they were sort of scared to include before. That concludes my TED Talk. Thank you for listening.